last. I must say I'm disappointed in your progress. I imagined you'd be here sooner. Tell me, did it trouble you to murder your brothers?
Did it trouble you when you ordered me into the abyss?
Eternity is relentless, Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I could never contain such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? As such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. Our futures are predestined. Mobius foretold mine eons ago. We each play out the parts fate has written for us. Free will is an illusion.
I found the tomb of Sarafan, Kain. How could you profane a priest by turning him into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer. Who better to serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
The Sarafan were saviors, defending Nazgul from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are open, Kain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my unwilling corpse.
You may have uncovered your past, but you know nothing of it. You think the Sarafan were noble, altruistic? Oh, don't be simple. Their agenda was the same as ours. You nearly had me, Raziel. But this is not where or how it ends. Fate promises more twists before this drama unfolds completely.
Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah. Welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny. Where am I? Is the usual question. In your case, when might be more apt.
Very well, you old snake. If you'd prefer I use my bare hands...
This is completely unexpected. This orb disables our vampire enemies, leaving them helpless and incapacitated. Strangely, it seems to have the same effect on that peculiar weapon of yours. But you must believe me. I mean you no harm.
You can drop the benevolent facade, Mobius. I know who and what you are. I should kill you where you stand.
Perhaps you should, my boy. But you don't.
Are you so certain of that, Morbius?
My role as Time Guardian affords me a certain level of omniscience, Raziel. No, you don't kill me. That honor belongs to your maker, Kain, some 30 years from now.
You two are a pair. You're just as fatalistic as he is.
Death comes for us all, Raziel. It's just a matter of time.
How is it that you know my name? We have never met.
On the contrary, Raziel, I know you very well. And it grieves me to see how cruelly Kain has used you. I knew you when you were one of the Sarafan Brotherhood, Raziel. We were even close.
Oh, please.
Fortunately, you need not love me now to be my ally.
Are we within the stronghold of the Sarafan priesthood?
Yes, but the glorious days of the Sarafan have long since passed, I'm afraid. This is a more cynical and indecorous age. My mercenary army now inhabits this stronghold. We strive to honor the memory of the Sarafan with our own humble crusade.
Is this the vampire Vorador?
Yes, the scourge of the Circle, the most depraved and decadent example of his whole degenerate race. He slaughtered 6 of my fellow Guardians as they cowered defenseless in this room.
And you somehow survived this massacre?
I and 2 others. The Circle was devastated. Only we 3 were spared.
How convenient. You'll forgive me if I don't naively devour every scrap of information you toss me. You have a reputation for deceit.
And who has slandered me so? Your malefactor, Kain? The one who betrayed and destroyed you? Our common enemy? Consider the source before you judge me too harshly. We'll forget about rekindling our old friendship then. But consider an alliance based on our common ground. I can help you do it.
You don't want to meddle in this, old man. I know all about your sordid little schemes, but you're simply out of your depth on this one.
You underestimate me, Raziel. Let me show you. Even now, Kain is lying in wait for you, unaware that I've snatched you out of the time stream and brought you here to me. See how he lingers at the very pillars he is destined to destroy, foolishly confident that he has eluded your grasp.
The pillars are still standing in this time.
Yes, Raziel. They are the embodiment of the divine force which preserves the life of our world. We who serve the pillars maintain their delicate balance, and Kain is destined to be the fulcrum upon which that balance turns. I believe you have already endured the wasteland wrought by his terrible, selfish decision. Kain's very existence is a cancer upon this world. As long as he lives, all of Nosgoth is in peril. You may never again be human, Raziel. But you can re-embrace the essence of your humanity and the nobility of your Sarafan heritage. Go to him, Raziel, and end this. But first, you will need to find your way out of the stronghold, and in this, I'm afraid I cannot help you. My soldiers will not understand your appearance here. They will try to kill you. You needn't fear them, of course. They're no match for you. Try to keep the casualties to a minimum. But do what you have to do. All great movements require a few martyrs.
Alone now, I surveyed my surroundings and noticed a second time-streaming chamber. Its entrance identical to the first, but with one distinction. That crystal was significant, but how, I had not yet discovered.
And that is really all you ever need to know about Mobius, the Time Streamer. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to Soul Reaver. Specifically, this is Soul Reaver 2. Now, a little bit of an explanation. The reason I'm not continuing with Soul Reaver 1 is because it turns out there's a bit of a bug. I did a little bit of work. Yeah, I'm just gonna let Raziel be idle for a minute. Turns out there's a little bit of a bug with the building of the Dumahim Sanctuary. Namely that a place I needed to get to, I couldn't really get to, so I couldn't complete it. To give you an idea of what happens, you fight Duma, you kill him, and absorb his soul to gain the Constrict ability, which doesn't come back in this game, or any other. Eventually what you do is you go and confront Kain in the chamber where we saw in that opening cutscene, because the opening cutscene of Soul Reaver 2 is basically the ending cutscene of Soul Reaver 1. That room is known as a time streaming chamber, or a chronoplast. Mobius built them all over the place, and they allow you to travel through time, which we kind of did, in case you didn't notice, because as Raziel pointed out to Mobius when they were looking in this thing, the pillars are still standing, which means we are several thousand years before the events of Soul Reaver 1, despite the fact that this takes place afterwards. Hold on, I gotta mess with the controls real quick. Okay, first off, let me figure out what the mouse does. Alright, that's... Alright, I can jump with mouse 0, which is my middle mouse click. That's a little weird. Do these do anything? Alright, I can block that. There's my telekinesis ability. Which now I actually have to... Now actually has a second... Alright, there's my soul absorbing. I still need to mess with the controls. I might actually go over to keyboard only. Okay, let's see. Alright, forward. I'm gonna do WAS and D for this. Okay, so space is jump. Devour soul I'm going to put on... What is Q doing anything? No, Q is not doing anything. So Devour soul is going to be on Q. Block is going to be on E. Alright, so auto face, left control, that's okay. Ring menu is on enter, that's also good. Pan left is right control. Numpad 0. I don't really see a need for it to be that, so... 1 and 2. Actually, you know what, we're gonna make that 3. So that 2 doesn't do anything. So I've got a bit of a gap. Okay, so X is action. You know what, we're gonna change that as well. Okay, so no, I'm not, because I can't use the arrow keys. So X and C are my main attacks. Actually, you know what? We're going to make that Z. Crouch is on X. That's actually better. Alright, so this is going to take me some getting used to, because I've never... Now, you might wonder, why am I not playing this with my controller? It's because it's not letting me. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about what we saw here. Also, I need to figure out what is... Oh, left shift. Okay, so left shift is my look around. Now, this mural was looked at when we were talking with Mobius, and the vampire standing above this that is just a human down there. The vampire standing above them is Vorador, one of the ancient vampires, and I'm going to do a little bit of a spoiler here. Vorador is also the greatest blacksmith the vampire race ever produced. He created the Soul Reaver that Kain had, the physical blade. Now, the spectral blade that Raziel had is a completely different matter. This mural over here is what we saw as well. Oh, actually, no, that's not the one. We saw that one over there. Now, what we see is Vorador dealing with the members of the Circle, because as Mobius pointed out, Vorador did... Actually, no, I am going to go back to keyboard and mouse real quick. Hold on. Mouse... Action. Alright, so that. Okay, so WASD. Devour Soul is going to be again on Q. Aim, I don't need to worry about. Auto face left control, that's good. Block is on X. This is going to be confusing. Alright. That should work. Actually, wait, what was the... Yeah, ring menu still on. Enter. Alright. Now... These... That's actually what these murals depict, is Vorador dealing with the members of the Circle. The Circle of 9, and in fact, you can kind of see... Actually, that's not the Soul Reaver, that's just a blade. The Circle of 9 is what Kain ended up being a part of. There's my Devour. I have already forgotten how I did the energy blast. Oh well, I'll figure it out. But Vorador is a lot more complex than Mobius made him out today, because Mobius is kind of a dick. Now, as we talked about, we are in the stronghold of the Seraphan, or what used to be the stronghold of the Seraphan. Now, it's given over to a mercenary army that Mobius has control of. Yeah, you also you don't have to impale humans, but you do need to feed, and you're technically invulnerable right now. Also, yeah, Raziel is no longer limited to just spears, he can now use swords. But, like I was saying, the Dumahim Sanctuary, the Dumahim in... In Soul Reaver 1, the Dumahim area did kind of mess up, so I couldn't continue the fight. I will tell you about it, though. What you do is eventually you go and free Duma, who is impaled several times. You remove the spears from his body, and he, of course, wakes up. Because, I mean, what else are you going to do? Now, it turns out that Duma is actually physically the toughest of Raziel's brethren. To the point that he is actually fully invulnerable. Raziel has nothing that can harm Duma. So you have to run from the big guy. Now, I don't know why I'm not moving forward. What is the... I'm not a fan of that, so we're gonna go to this thing. I'm also gonna head back onto the hallway real quick. But yeah, if you remember the furnace room in the Sanctuary of the Dumahim, basically you have to run from your brother Duma and lead him into the furnace and then basically blow him up. It's the only way to kill Duma. Eventually then you track down Kain, find him in the Chronoplast, which is the time streaming chamber that we came out of. You confront him.
Throughout the stronghold, I discovered evidence of my former nobility and my life as a Sarafan priest. This was the heritage so foully stolen from me when Kain raided my sacred crypt and defiled me.
Anyway, like I said, you hunt down Kain in the Chronoplast, fight him one last time. But yeah, for some reason, I'm not being allowed to walk forward when I'm locked onto people. I am stronger than you could ever be, human. Also, Mobius lied to you if he told you if you could possibly stand up to me. I am something beyond at this point. But a lot of what Kain was talking about in the opening cutscene, that free will is an illusion, predestination, those are some of the huge themes in this series. Because Kain believes that everything is predestined, but at the same time, he's decided that he is not going to just sit there and take it. He's actually trying actively to free himself from his destiny. Because I'm gonna get into some spoilers here, so if you don't want spoilers, well, I don't really have a way to stop them. Okay, good, I do still have super jump. And my wings. But okay, what am I doing? And I'm back to being spectral, because yeah, I can still do this. Also, the souls look a little different in this. Now, occasionally they are skulls, which is, I think, the soul of an enemy I killed. Yeah, so you still have milk eyes, believe it. Kain's whole thing, like I said, is to try and actively get away from what he sees as being his predestined fate. Because his predestined fate is to die, and with his death, restore the balance of Nosgoth. The thing is, if you haven't picked up on it by this point, Kain, one of his big motivating factors is self-interest. He is very selfish. But he's also really well written for the selfishness.
Away from the influence of Mobius's cursed staff, I could feel the strength of the Soul Reaver slowly returning. If that orb was as debilitating to vampires as it was to the blade, it gave Mobius a powerful advantage over his enemies. I finally understood how Mobius's crusade could decimate the vampires so successfully. If he could immobilize his enemies, they were at his mercy. Why, I wondered, would the staff have any effect on the Reaver?
Well, we find that out eventually, but basically what I was saying, like I said, Kain is a very well written but very selfish character at the end of the day. I can keep this up all day. Y'all can't. But I'll be nice. Okay, maybe I can't keep this up all day. Okay, why would you back up when I tell you to go forward? I'll take your heart, by the way, and eventually your head. But yes, for some reason, I'm legitimately pushing forward right now on my keyboard. Luckily, it doesn't seem like my health goes down if I'm not wielding the Reaver.